Good evening, folks. Scott again with Umber Outdoors. We're out here in the barn again, and tonight we're going to sit here and go over some of the tactics for spider rigging and why we use certain tactics. A lot of my videos have me spider rigging, and kind of want to go into detail on why we use certain things, certain size weights, and give you a little better understanding of the setup for spider rigging, to where, you know, if you're a new guy going out to spider rig, it kind of looks overwhelming when you got, you know, 6 poles out or 4 poles out. Kind of give you an insight on the technique, because this is a very, very productive technique. I enjoy doing it. It's relaxing when you're out on the lake where the fish are suspended. You don't get hung up a lot. It can get a little tricky when you're on brush tops or tree tops and different things, but the method is extremely productive, and just wanted to do a video to show you why we do what we do, and what size weights and what does what. So we're going to get up front here on the bow and look and see exactly the setups we have on the rods, and kind of explain each setup and what we're doing, and maybe it'll help you go out and catch more crappie. So from the barn, we're gonna get started tonight. We got the old 5 Points antique sign. We got the Morrison shoe store sign. That was my grandmother's shoe store back in the day. And another 5 Points antique sign there. Just a cool old barn, and enjoy getting out here and working on the boat and stuff. So hope y'all enjoy the video. Stick around. All right, so here's our setup, guys. We got a high-tech stuff rod holder, okay? And I'm sorry it's a little bit late out here and it's still daylight, but the camera's not picking up real well. But anyway, we got high-tech rod holders. You don't have to have high-tech. You can get whatever brand you like, but we've got those on both sides. And we got the Capps & Coleman CCT 143, which is a 14-foot pole with 3 sections. We got little bait casters on them. And I typically run 3 on each side. But out on the end, if you notice, the rods are same level across here. All right, guys. It was cold outside, it got dark, so we moved inside into the basement. So I can get my hand out of the way. But anyway, we got in the basement, and I'm gonna turn the camera around, and I'm gonna explain 5 different scenarios that you can use when you're spider rigging. All right, guys, so here's what we got. We got 5 different ways that you can use different things to spider rig with. First of all, we got the double 16th. Those have the willow. I was trying to zoom in there, but those have the willow leaf. All right, and they're about 1.5 foot apart. And then we come over, and this is just a single 1/8 ounce lead head. And we tip those with minnows, or we put jigs on them. In the springtime, I'm more out to put a jig on than I am the wintertime or fall, but sometimes a minnow on a jig head works better than just a plain minnow hook. Not sure, I guess that's just what the crappie want. Come on over here, and we've got a single hook, okay, just a number 2 hook, and a 1/2 ounce weight, okay? So now a 1/2 ounce weight is gonna hold your bait in a position when you're moving a lot more steady than the 1/4 ounce weight. So if you're chasing fish in open water, that bait is not going to ride up as the boat moves like that near as much as it will with the 1/4 inch. The 1/4 inch, I'm sorry, 1/4 ounce. The 1/4 ounce weight, when you move the boat, it's going to ride up in the water column like this, okay? And then it'll come back down. And a lot of times that'll trigger a strike if you're over a treetop and you can just turn your trolling motor 90 degrees one way and just bump it. It'll ride it up real quick and then come back down. It'll just come up and it'll swing right back down. And that real fast motion of as you're moving the boat, it riding up in the water. So if you're turning right, that bait is actually going to ride up like this. Where if you're turning left, it'll ride up this way. But then it comes back. But you see where the hook, it kind of comes up in the water column. Where if you've got a 1/2 ounce weight, which is what this is, when you move, it may move a little bit, but it's not going to come way back like this, like a lighter weight, like a double 16th or an 1/8. And then you've also got what's called a Caps and Coleman rig, which this is a 3/8, so it's in between the 1/4 and the 1/2 ounce. But it'll have a hook on the bottom, a weight here, another hook up top, and then a swivel. I've got it held up with my hanger there, but it's got a swivel that you tie on. And these come pre-rigged. You can buy them at different locations, but it's a little longer. You know, it covers a little more water. And it's the same principle. You got two hooks down there, 2 minnows. If you're on schooling fish out in open water, that works really good. If you get around a lot of brush with the double hooks, man, it just gets tangled up a lot easier. But now I did catch a double this past weekend. I was using a double hook rig because the guy that I was fishing with had them tied on already. And I caught a double. I had 2 fish right at a pound, and it was a lot of fun catching that double. But if I'm over brush, I'm going to use this technique right here with a 1/4 ounce. And I'm probably going to bring this thing down. So that's just a bobber stopper right there. But I'm going to bring that thing down where it's about 4 inches from that hook. And then that way, that minnow can't run but just a little. He's got a little leadway, but he don't have a lot of leadway. So you're not going to get hung quite as much, especially if you've got a 1/2 ounce. You bring that 1/2 ounce on down right there, and he can't go very far. He's still got a little wiggle room down here, but he can't go a long way. So if I'm in open water, though, and the fish are a little spooky, we'll take and run that weight. We'll run that weight way up there, you know, 1.5 feet, 2 foot away from the bait. And that lets that bait really get to, I mean, he can swim everywhere now because we got our weight way up here. So he gives him a lot of leadway. Now, if you're out in open water, that's great. But now if you're next to a bunch of brush, you let that minnow get going, he is going to get around and tangle you up, okay? So just remember, if you're doing it this way with a bobber stopper, which that's why I like doing it, you can adjust the weight level, which determines how much your minnow can move. That works really good on brush tops. So recapping, we got a double 16th. We just tie a big loop knot up here and have that on a loop. And the cool thing about this, if you're moving a little bit, this will swing out here away from the line, and then you got that one down there. So that's a very effective springtime way, and put jigs on that, and that's super effective. You got the 1/8 ounce, which is also effective, and it is effective in the spring and fall. And then you got your single hook minnow rig with a 1/2 ounce weight, single hook minnow rig with a 1/4 ounce weight, and then you got a double hook Caps and Coleman rig with a swivel up top, 2 hooks. And then, like I say, you can get this in a 1/2 ounce and a 3/8, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if you can get it in a 1/4. But that's the Caps and Coleman rig. So hopefully you guys learn a little something on this video about how I spider rig and what different techniques and different combinations. And sometimes, guys, I'll have 2 of these here on. I have 1 of these on. I might have 2 more jigs over here. Typically, if I'm using minnows, I'm going to try to stay with my 1/4 ounce all the way across all 6 poles where everything's equal, or 1/2 ounce. If the wind's blowing real hard, I'll go with a 1/2 ounce because of the boat's moving up and down, and it just seems to hold everything a little more steady with a 1/2 ounce weight. So anyway, that's kind of what I do, and you can see that bait's still getting after it right there. There's a lot more action on that 1/8. So hopefully this gives you a little insight on how I catch fish spider rigging, and maybe you can learn something from it. But thank you guys so much for watching the videos and making the channel somewhat of a success. Hopefully it gets better. Hopefully the videos get better. My goal in February when I started the channel was to get monetized within a year, and I did it in about 10 months. Thanks to you guys for watching the videos. And we're going to do another video on that in a week or so about what caused me to start a YouTube channel, and how I got started, and who my mentor is, and some stuff like that. So y'all be on the lookout for that video if you're interested in starting a channel. And maybe it'll inspire somebody to do the same thing. But I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much for, man, I got like 2,600 subscribers, which I'd like to get a lot more, but tickled to death with that within a year. Got my 4,000 watch hours last week, and got on the map. And that was the goal, to show my grandkids that an old guy can take the new technology and actually get a check. It's going to take a while to get a check, because you got to have over $100 worth of income before they'll cut you one. But hopefully within a month or two, we'll get that check. But thanks again so much for watching, and hope y'all continue to watch. Y'all have a good night.